Warning. Elements of real-world religion are used in this podcast to serve the purposes of a work of fiction. They are to drive the drama forward and are not intended to be taken as a statement of opinion by the players. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, let's go find the guide.
It's easy to find a guide. It's Hope's Landing. You find whatever the hell you want. You just look around for
We're
a
looking
while.
for,
and
what was her name? Mary Targhee? The girl you told me about?
Mm-hmm. Yep, she knows her way south.
Let's go talk to her.
All right. Jump in.
Take
the reins.
So when you walk around the corner for where you hear that Mary is going to be, you see a Native American woman sitting, kind of lounging, smoking a cigarette. She's got long, dark hair like you would expect, and a deerskin dress embroidered beautifully, but is also wearing like the hunter-trapper deerskin pants that you more often see on a man, and is splayed wide with a very male stance about her. And she's just sitting there, kind of just waiting for what's next, because she does not have trouble finding work in this town. It comes to her.
Spreading.
Yeah, she does not need to find it.
So we get to describe all characters for her.
I'm envisioning kind of envisioning like a Jane Cannery from Deadwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
Only less drunk.
Yeah,
right.
and maybe less top hat with a feather. in it.
Calamity Jane.
Yeah, let's do a quick once around the table for what your characters look like.
This part.
But please bake it down to like 2 sentences so we can keep it moving.
What's the name?
Mary Targhee. Targhee.
Mary, got it.
This is an actual relative of yours.
It is. It is my great grandmother.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yes, it is. You are Kiefer Sutherland.
Lost boy. Got it. With the musket.
The guns.
I said that just to bother you.
24!
Alright, I guess I'll start then.
Yep.
So, about just under 6 feet, very handsome, piercing eyes, Jared Leto looking guy, kind of guy in a coat with some plating over it. Kind of looks like an anachronism, a very good looking anachronism, but still wearing kind of a long duster coat.
10. He is dressed like those two guys. He's dressed a little bit like Doc and a little bit like Jed, like he admires them or something. Because like 10-year-old kids would just absorb their elders.
He's dressed a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
That's right. A little bit of Motown in my soul.
Temperance is a very petite, about 5 foot, half-elven woman. For the sake of this particular setting, it's half Chinese. Very well dressed, very sort of youthful and pretty looking. But as mentioned at the table, she's been in Hope's Landing for about 15 years.
So we probably have seen each other before.
Yeah.
Jed is, he's a rough-looking guy. He normally wears almost like a long mustache, but it's recently been shaved off, so he's got a few days of stubble going. Shortcut hair, and due to a recent fire, his duster jacket has burnt holes through it.
I don't know what you're talking.
Nice.
And he looks like Toby Stevens from Black Sails.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You shaved though, right?
I'm clean. I was clean shaved a few days ago, so it was a few days of stubble.
Okay, gotcha.
There's been some murdering since then.
So, and we're being brought to you as with knowing that
Prospective
you're our guide.
clients, yeah. And you know from Jedediah's experience, and a little bit from Temperance too, because Temperance is a local, that Mary is where you go when you want to go south.
All right, then Levi will probably be the first to say.
Temperance also knows
Where you want to go?
Different kind
when
of
you
south.
want to go south.
Levi being the self-imposed face of the party, will just immediately approach. You must be Mary. How do you do?
Very well.
I'm Levi Williams. Extends a hand.
Pleasure.
I come up behind Eli. Mary, pleasure to see you again. Please excuse Mr. Williams. He's very enthusiastic when it comes to meeting women folk.
As long as we got cash.
Well, you know that I do
That's
not.
what I always say.
You know that I do not discriminate, and that I don't always pay cash. But on to business.
Mary, we're tracking a feller down in Wayne County. Need somebody to show us the way. Your services available for hire?
They are, indeed.
We've got some money to spend, and we could use somebody who knows the trail. You up for the challenge?
I like money.
Fair enough.
I think that means yes, everyone.
We did the research, and $1 in the 1880s is about $25 a money, just so you have a point of reference.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's 24, but
Well, when we're all ready, we'll saddle up and go.
Mary, if I could, a word. Just because it impacts you in your trade, we are traveling with a woman and a child. They won't get in the way.
Understood.
how
Usual
are you,
price.
so you had like the buckskin dress and pants.
Mhm.
Is there any like tribal filigree, or are you wearing more like a West like
Definite-
a European trappings? Or?
So a bizarre combination. So like definitely looks like has interacted with enough Westerners that is trying to pull off that, so that way they're more comfortable hiring her. But also has a bear claw necklace on. No visible tattoos, no actual markings or anything. But
and how are you armed?
bow and short swords.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you just see a long bow strapped to her back, and
It's the first bow of the party.
And pretty fucking cool.
The party boner.
I thought you said both. You said, "How are you armed?" and you said both.
Both.
I have both my
Above
arms.
Left
Right,
and
left.
right.
Both my arms.
listen, if I was playing a monk, it would work.
I have bear arms.
I've got all 6 of my arms.
You got both. They're
Alright.
both still there. All the fingers.
Both is good.
All right. Well, Levi, we'll get ready to go.
All right.
What would be a typical price for taking them?
This is a lengthy journey into Wayne County. This would be an appropriately $100 to $120 kind of for a party of 5 with a child. Probably closer to the high end of that.
Okay. 150, half up front.
All right. I've got 20 to contribute.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'll make that 25.
25, 50, 75, 100. So we need to find an extra $50. Because you give all your money to
I'm in
her,
a field reading a book. I have my own money.
Oh,
Keep it now.
good.
We're gonna squeeze
'Cause we
it
need
out
it.
of the little guy.
We're gonna
You're gonna roll the child for money.
rough you up and steal your little coin purse or whatever.
Nice lunch money, doofus.
So what? I'll do $12.50 up front then, or what?
I'll pay Gideon a share.
Okay. So that's 150
It's about
divided by
25.
4.
I put in $25.
Let's do it this way.
She did only ask for half up front, which
True.
would be 75.
All right, so 75 divided by 4 equals everybody puts in $19.
With this group, you said half up front. That means $125. And
the
they would have bought it.
Everybody, as in the 4 of us.
four of us. Well, yeah, the 4 of us
Yeah.
because we're not letting you shoulder Gideon's share on your own because it makes for difficult maths.
Yeah.
God damn it,
All right,
Gideon.
got it.
All right. You've hired your guide.
We'll
Also,
difficult
as a fun
maths.
fact, Jedediah,
Yes.
down at the stable is a certain horse you're familiar with.
Ah, yes. My certain horse. I need to name my certain horse.
You named him once
Don't
upon a
name it,
time.
it'll die.
Do you remember what I named it?
Nope.
How about Cyril? It's Cyril.
Cyril the horse.
Cyril the horse.
I had a brother named Cyril.
Well, he's a horse now.
He used to be a Killian.
I had a breakfast named cereal.
Right?
Yep, Cyril, my horse.
Cyril is freed from his prison in the stable.
Yeah.
He's an old, stubborn asshole of a horse.
Well, Jed's an old stubborn asshole of a guy, so
How old is Jed?
early 30s.
Ooh, you're like a shade from death in this world.
Mm-hmm.
He looks
Yeah,
like
I'm about
he's
to cholera
late
myself to
40s.
death.
Well, they're basically the stable master is happy to make your horse go away.
Mm.
Your horse is kind of a deity.
Yeah, he's an ornery cuss.
Yeah.
He and I have an understanding. I don't shoot him and he doesn't kick me.
That's really good.
Sounds like
actually.
marriage.
That's our agreement.
So far, we've gotten along famously.
Speaking of ornery cusses at various holding pens. No, not you.
Different ornery cuss.
before we leave town, I want to check in again at the Mary Ram.
Okay.
I want to see if Chunk's Duster has been in any time recently.
Not at all.
No? Alright. And,
Oh, come on.
I'm coming up with more fake names.
so Chunks hasn't been through any time
It's
recently.
nice and cool up.
Nope.
Alright. And, no Pinkertons neither?
Nope.
Well, if a Pinkerton does come through, charge him double.
We always do.
Charge him triple then.
D-Zan.
That's a little bit much, even for Hope's Landing.
2.5.
Sold.
Just make sure they have a real good time.
This is Miss Helena, who's got the super blonde hair, cropped short. And she's leaning behind the bar, and this is the woman who, like, when shit hits the fan, she grabs the double barrel that's behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to get down when things get fucked up.
Now, Miss Helena, you make sure those Pinkertons have a real good time. You make sure they have a hard time walking, riding, holding anything steady the next day. You hear me?
Well, wouldn't be doing my job if not for that, no?
You hear me as the next owner of this property.
Oh, yes. Next owner. Your Majesty, your word is my command.
Miss Helena, you make sure you do a real good job, or I'm gonna make sure that you do.
Miss Temperance, the road is that way. And you'll find it's very welcoming. We're just fine here, thank you.
Miss Helena, you'll remember that they don't call me Miss Kitty for nothing.
She just looks at you.
You charge those Pinkertons 2.5 times the going rate.
Yeah, I heard you.
Alright, I'm getting out and you give Chunks a cut on his next time in.
If I see Chunks, I give him a different kind of cut.
Now, Miss Helena, surely that in my absence there is someone else you can fob Chunks up on before things get physical in that kind of way?
Somebody's got to stab a man.
Charge him double at the bar, he won't give you no trouble upstairs.
You say so, my princess.
Miss Helena, I'm gonna have you shining my shoes if you don't mind yourself.
Please feel free to go and shine the trail.
What a
Miss
fish.
Helena, I will remember you the next time I am back in Hope's Landing.
I can't promise the same.
This is hot.
Whore off.
Yep.
She whores harder. Whore check. Ah!
That's horrible.
I rolled a natural 19.
Oh.
Oh, sad trombone.
Oh, Gideon, don't forget your Portents.
Yeah, she's a bitch to you. You gathered him.
What a bitch.
Yeah, she'd be. Alright,
I don't cut her on the face.
get this off. Alright, are we ready to move south?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Alright. I have this random ambient audio that I've only listened to most of.
Refresh my memory. We're going south to
Wayne
County.
County.
Wayne County. Thank you.
If we're riding at some point, when things are getting heroic, I have a specific song that I want to play.
I may indulge you if we get to that mood.
Yeah, just letting you know.
When I first encounter you,
Yes.
I go like,
Is he taking a pen?
"Are you an Indian? I never seen an Indian before." Wow.
Depends on who you ask.
Big old wide eyes. I think it's the coolest thing. Getting just enamored
I never.
like right away.
That's a billion for me.
Quiet smile.
No, that's for Killian.
Very quiet smile.
It's for Doc specific.
I get to travel with you like a real live Indian.
Gideon, Gideon, what have I told you about talking about people behind their back?
No, this is great. I always wanted to. It's just like this is.
Gideon, what is so special about Mary?
There's something about Mary.
About
You know,
Mary.
If the word "cool" was invented, it would
I
be
would
that.
have used it.
I would have used it. But that's like 60 years from now.
Holy crap.
This entire side of the table made the same joke at the same time.
So good.
Now, Gideon, I want you to treat Mary with the same respect you treat me. Here?
Oh, you got that. She might be cooler.
Oh, damn.
I don't,
So
I don't intend to split the party up.
So another note on the it depends on who you ask.
You're a
Since
kid.
you worked in the same town, you've also heard me called Mary Targhee Kutch.
Kutch.
K-U-T-C-H. Okay.
Alright.
I've only been her tag along for a short time, so you probably.
So no loyalty, got it.
No, I just haven't seen you before. That's why I haven't.
So what can you tell us about your nemesis, Jedediah?
I thought you were asking me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
A little personal.
Well, when I knew Mr. Guthrie, he went by lieutenant, seconded to Captain Quantrill. May have heard of him.
Have I?
History check.
12.
Yeah, you heard of Captain Quantrill.
What do I know about him?
He was a Texas man who fought for the South in the Civil War.
One of the Texas natives. Yes, I do know the name.
And, I don't know, out of character, you might know he was responsible for burning Lawrence, Kansas in the Civil War.
I don't know who that is either.
Lawrence, Kansas was a major city that got burnt to the ground during the Civil War
Oh, okay.
by Confederates who just wanted to kill civilians that way.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we've all been there.
Bleeding Kansas.
Bleeding
So-
Kansas.
All right.
He was seconded to Captain Quantrill. And, well, they called themselves bushwhackers. More like bandits, rapists, killers. We were none better. We were Jayhawks, but we were from Kansas. They were from Missouri. I fought against the man several times. Never actually laid eyes on him personal-like, but, well, he fought for slavery. I fought against it, I guess. Really, it was just a reason to draw blood. And one day it all culminated when he sacked and burned Kansas capital to the ground. That's where my mama was staying when we were fighting the war. That's where they encountered each other. And
So, did he cut you off?
Mm.
Did he know you before the act?
I know my grandpappy, known my daddy. Never really met me. I was a youngin' at the time. I guess you could say there was some bad blood between his family and ours.
Does he still have his same army connections?
It's tough to tell. After they declared the war was over, we kept fighting, but it wasn't legal like anymore. Just old blood being hashed out. A lot of us left. I headed north. I never heard what became of him. Tried to keep tabs on him for a while, but, well, you know, making money to live day to day, that sort of got in the way. It's the first I've heard of the man in quite some time.
Just wondering what kind of defenses we can expect.
Well, he'll likely be holed up in the woods. We all, when we fought, it was tree to tree, forest to forest, roads, rivers, gullies, the like. No battlefields. It's not the way we did things. If he knows we're onto him, he's more like to sneak into your tent in the night and slit your throat than he is to meet you on a battlefield. Best to keep him unawares.
Levi gives you an expression that's kind of I'll do it to you, like to listeners. It's like kind of a look like, yeah, of course, that checks out.
That makes sense.
That's what you would do. All right, so we just have to find him first.
That is the plan.
You want to pose as one of the Confederates?
Well, you've already got a suitable suit.
That is exactly what I was alluding to.
It's dangerous.
It's fine. I want to do this for you. Seems like the good thing to do.
Well, we find a place to get you into the good gracious. We'll definitely.
If that's the approach you want to take.
My conscience would be put to rest if I could look the man in the eye before I killed him. But he's not someone to be taken lightly. And I will not miss a chance.
Over the course of our journeys, I seem to be losing my taste for killing. It makes me sick. I don't know why. Didn't used to. But I will make sure to tie him up long enough for you to do your duty.
Enjoying killing is a young man's game. Getting it done, though you have a distaste for it, that's what men do.
I suppose it is at least the easier of things to do. As I say, Jedediah will serve my purpose in this little crew of yours. I'll do so and I will use the tools with which I am best accustomed to use. I suppose you could say that as my silver tongue.
Well, if the man is still as formidable as he used to be, it will take all of our best tools to get close enough to strike the fatal blow.
What sort of things can you tell me about his personality that I can exploit? What sort of things does he like to hear?
He's cruel. He's vain.
Vain. Very good. I know a man like that. Pulls out his mirror.
Duck faces.
Yeah.
He's someone that fancies himself as a connoisseur of the finer things, though it's more of a ruse than true to reality.
That's fine.
Horses. He had a fine stable of horses.
Is he a legend amongst the Confederates? Amongst his people?
Captain Quantrill was the legend, although I would not be surprised if they knew his name.
What is Quantrill's fate? Living or dead?
Executed anyway.
Yeah, let me find out.
He was firing squad, actually.
Captain Quantrill was a real guy, by the way.
Real guy.
I know. Yeah. That's cool.
No, I think it was firing squad.
Yes, but when is the problem?
The late 1860s.
Died 1865. Yep, so he's dead.
Well, then he's the next best thing. Something a happy young Confederate, wide and blue-eyed, would be happy to meet. And say, sir, it's an honor to meet you see all you have done. Please enjoy this fine glass of wine I have purchased for us. And let me tell you about how we might be able to take back the glory of the South. How would he respond to something like that?
You do your part, and he'll enjoy that.
Well, thank you, Jedediah. This has been helpful for all of us. It might even unnerve you at how easily Levi can just do that. So this is the first time you've heard of him like trying to set up a con.
At this point, you can see that this area of Utah, as you're moving south, is generally very dry. But it happens to be the springtime season, and the storm clouds are rolling up. They sort of hit the Rockies and stop, and you get this very East Hampton effect. These storm clouds are rolling in overhead, and this is not unusual. This is just something that happens in the spring, where you get these really intense rainstorms for a day or two. A break, and it becomes dry again for a whole season. I get the hiccups from drinking too much beer.
Happens every season.
Those things happen every spring.
The booze got to us again.
But you see that the rain is now coming down pretty heavy, and
Duster collar up.
Yeah, it makes for travel being very unpleasant. Your horses are squelching through the mud as they make their progress through. And you happen upon a river. It's a wide river, about 60 or 70 feet wide. And there is sort of a rickety wooden bridge connecting both sides, but it's actually sagging now from water weight. And the spring thaw and the extra rain, the flash flooding, the water level is actually a little higher than the level of the bridge. So it's actually a little bit lower now than the surface. And your path takes you to this river, and you have to cross through it to go further south. It's actually on the map right there. It's real.
So we're going far south.
Yeah, it's very far south. The train is only like 4 or 5 hours. We're talking like a day and a half journey to get down to Wayne County on horseback.
Yeah, that's all right. On the bright side, you guys get a short rest now. Finally,
I kind of look to the guide and say, "Well,
So typically, this is the bridge we take.
This is the bridge, yep.
Can I inspect it to see if it looks like anything is failing on it?
Sure. It sounds like let's call it a survival check.
Can anybody help her?
I hope so.
Is anyone trained in survival?
me,
No.
I am.
Doc Blythe can help
I
her.
will
She
help
gets
you.
advantage on her roll.
Yay!
Roll a different die.
It's okay.
That's way better. 21.
Yeah.
First one was a 2.
This bridge is in such a condition that you think it's probably okay with people, and it's probably okay with horses, but horses and people at the same time might be a difficult scenario to adjudicate.
Okay, we put the duck in the canoe with the man.
Okay.
All right, I have the solution for this. We got 150 feet of rope from that stable master. That
That stable master who was named
Isaac.
Isaac Dickoff.
That was his full name.
Yep. So I am going to tie a rope to my horse, walk across the bridge, then pull my horse across the bridge.
Give me an acrobatics check.
Can that be athletics? I'm
No.
pulling a horse.
No, it can't.
It's for you to walk across the bridge.
This is for balance purposes.
Ah.
Am I just watching him do this?
Do you have any insight before I do this?
Oh, I have lots of insights before you do this.
Well, feel free to jump in and keep me from doing something stupid.
No, I'm pretty sure you paid me the first half, and I'm just going to watch you do this as you just started
Okay.
doing it.
We paid for
20.
you to get us there.
The bridge tilts as you're walking along.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of just the current's carrying it a bit as the rain is beating down.
Mm.
And you feel like you could potentially lose your footing, but you don't. You're an experienced road hand. You make it across the bridge, take the horse across, the horse panics a bit halfway across, but you're able to sort of like gently tug it across. And eventually the horse comes across the bridge to the point where it's no longer bending, and you emerge on the other side of the river unscathed.
You want me to roll?
So she points this out to us, right? That the bridge is rickety.
Yeah, the bridge looks a little messed up.
I would suggest walking across slowly and not being on your beast of burden whilst doing it. If anyone has trouble handling their horses, I will gladly do it in your stead.
Oh, that would mean a great deal. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and...
I'm good with certain
Throw a rope.
animals, but not these.
Give me an athletics check to see how far you can throw a bundled piece of rope.
Not far. 7.
You're about halfway across the bridge.
No, okay.
I'll go get it.
No!
No!
I'm light.
Honestly, if anyone has a better chance.
Gideon, you make it halfway across the bridge, no problem. You only weigh like 50 pounds.
This bridge ain't nothing. It's all right. Grab the rope.
All right. Yeah, bring it back to the other side. We'll tie it off on either side of the give them something to hold on to.
All right. Who's going next?
I'll tie it, and I'm making a real shitty knot.
The shitty knot. The best
shit all over it.
I'll entrust my
The
horse to
schnock.
her
Yeah.
and just go ahead.
Knot.
How would you like to get the horse across?
Probably using animal handling.
Just
and
like give it a pat, let it run across?
Cooing them and just...
All right, give me a roll. An
Get-
appropriate roll.
Yeah. 17.
You can get the whinny out of the random ambience track. That's
Ooh.
pretty cool. Yeah, you give this horse a little pat on the ass once it's lined up, and it trots across the bridge.
You tell it it's a pretty girl.
Sure
And,
do.
It approaches you, and you're able to like wrangle this horse without too much trouble. It's just trotting.
Mm-hmm.
Get my horse across as well. I'll help her out do it. I'm
Sorry.
trained in animal handling.
Okay.
as well.
With advantage to go ahead and roll that one.
That is a 14.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. I lied. 16.
That's actually much better.
Yep.
Yeah, the horse, just like before, trots across the bridge. The bridge tilts a little bit with the weight of the horse. Does one of these things into the current, and the horse manages to keep its footing. And
So we got 3 horses across. There's one more.
Alright, please get my
So I'll give her
horse
give
divorce
her a hand
across.
getting
It's horse
One more
dervs for
time.
starters.
Natural
Horse
20.
Hey. Natural 20.
Yeah. And a 19. That was a really good roll.
That one's actually really easy. Her horse is very easygoing, and you just give it a quick pat.
My horse is so easy.
The horses cross without issue. The rest of you are crossing the river as well.
Yeah, so we have that rope strung across now.
Yep.
I'll go last, unless you want to go last.
I'm good whenever.
Being kind of light on your feet, someone's got to untie the rope on this end and go across on their own. I mean, I'm pretty good, but I feel like you're a little lighter on your feet than I am.
I'm also lighter on my feet.
Lighter in general.
Yeah.
Lighter in general.
You can also tie the rope around your waist as the last
And
one.
just dangle.
Just in case.
Alright,
We'll
so
haul you
yeah,
in.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll go across using the rope.
Okay.
If nothing else, you got a wall full of money on you. We're hauling you
Acrobatics
in.
with advantage from the rope.
Lip up my head.
About a 17.
It's pretty damn good. How about for Levi?
For what am I rolling?
Acrobatics with advantage.
Oh, okay.
Acrovantage. Natural 20.
So, well, it's 18 roll there.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
19.
Okay, 20.
Supposing I have to get across the river too.
You do as well, yep. I'm sure you'll be fine.
That's a... What is it?
Acrobatics.
15.
That's also plenty. Alright, you do not have advantage because you no longer have the rope to benefit you, Miss Temperance.
But we'll hold on to the other end
Mhm.
if you want
Well,
to tie
yeah.
that end around yourself.
Tie the
Tie
other end
tie
around
the
my
other end to a
waist.
horse and smack its ass.
And she's just gone.
No, he's dead. That's why we
That
kicked him out of the table.
a 19.
19's plenty, yeah. You get across the bridge, no problem. You see as you cross it that there are actually a tribe of some type of rural people that appear to be living near the river. They look like frog-like in appearance. They're maybe 4 or 5 feet tall and big bulbous eyes, green skin, just sort of living by the river, doing their own thing.
Oh, wow.
Is this something that I've seen?
You know. Mary has, for sure. This is normal.
Do I know?
Iffy. Iffy for you.
I might maybe have heard of these things. History?
History of the very high DC.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, 12.
No. Mary knows. I would let you and Doc make a roll as well.
History?
Yeah.
Or you could ask me.
But I wouldn't
We don't
give
know that
advice
you know.
that way.
That's way less.
3.
Doc, yeah, you've encountered these people before. These are just a rural river.
I've been to Wayne County before, but
You
for
probably
some
ridden
time.
through like the corner of it or something to
cool,
get
yeah.
somewhere else. Nobody really goes there on purpose. But you've encountered
Unless
these
you have
types
to.
of people before. This is a fairly normal river-dwelling rural people. They're bullywug people.
What the heck? What?
Hollywoods.
They're part frog.
Now what in the blaze is this a woolywug?
I kind of don't point, but I like
Mm.
kind of like nod in the direction. that is
Yeah, they're just like rural river
just
people.
another kind of humanoid people.
What an amazing country.
They build like little rickety wooden houses on shores of rivers and hang out there.
And they're keeping to themselves.
Yep, they don't seem to do anything. They don't have anything to do with you. They enjoy the rain, so they appear to be having some sort of bizarre little rain dance outside
Frog
to
party.
celebrate. And
Frog spawn.
what the two of you who are familiar with these creatures are aware of, basically, it's like this super bare bones, like biology textbook type stuff, which is they lay their eggs in the mud, and the mud keeps them warm until they hatch, and they are otherwise fairly traditionally humanoid. That they have their own language. They don't like civilization, so they stay away. They just sort of do their own thing. They have a little river party. That's what they do.
Mary 100% goes up right behind the small child and says, "Stay close. They like eating babies."
What?
Nice.
Mary,
It's horrible.
is this their bridge we just used?
Is it their bridge that we just used?
This is more of a traditional construction. This is probably a human or dwarven bridge.
No, definitely human.
All right.
Alright.
Keep moving then.
Yeah.
Levi takes a moment to observe it and just kind of chuckles to himself. Incredible. We have crossed the bridge and bypassed the bullywugs.
Yes, we have.
The gentle bullywags.
That's the
But yeah, she
D&D-est
spends
phrase I've ever
like
heard.
45 minutes after leaving the Bullywugs telling you like these horrible, crazy stories.
And I am
these
like,
intense
now I'm
things
like
that they
right
do.
on your Well, I'm 10, but
Yeah.
No.
I'm right on your butt walking through everything. I'm like afraid to leave your side.
Now, and I'm making this up, but I like to think that that's just something Mary does to travelers who don't know any better, so they keep engaging her services.
I hope so.
Like, the bullywugs probably have never harmed a hair on anyone's head, but as long as you think they're scary, you're going to keep hiring her.
Yeah.
She's basically trolling you for more business.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's absolutely not what I'm doing. not even a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm not doing.
Is that.
So the storm continues to roll in overhead, and you get a good night's sleep in Hope's Landing. You set out in the morning, but the storm clouds now are so dense overhead that even though it should be early afternoon, it is dark. It's not quite dark as night, but certainly it looks more like late dusk at this point. You're getting very little bits of light shining through the cloud cover. And you see, as you're sort of descending down into a large basin valley, that there is a wagon that has sort of been pulled off the side of the path here. And the yoke of the wagon is down in the ground. There's no pack animals attached to it. The wagon is just off on the side on its own.
Do there appear to be any animals, and can we see any animals nearby?
Very basic small wildlife, not anything that can pull a wagon.
That's strange.
Are there people on or near the wagon?
You don't see anybody milling about, but it's a closed top wagon, so there might be people inside.
Do we want to hail this wreckage?
Mary, why don't you and I check on this wagon? Doc and Levi, you want to keep an eye on Miss Temperance? And get here?
I'll keep everybody covered.
With pleasure. Call me over if there's a problem.
We'll ride ahead.
In fact, why don't I stay a bit behind you in case something goes wrong?
I'm actually going to go on foot, so I can be stealthier.
And I'll ride ahead and draw
Because
attention
absolutely
off of you.
paranoid that this is an ambush.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll for funsies.
Sure.
And I also am paranoid it's an ambulance, but I can't be surprised, so whatever.
That is a 14.
They didn't ask me to go with them, so I'll stay behind.
Jedediah, you go ahead of Mary. And you see that there is a lot of blood out where the yoke of the wagon descended into the dirt. Just pools of dark blood.
As soon as I see the blood, pistol out, hammer cocked.
Yeah.
Do I see the pistol out?
Yep.
Rifle out.
In the
I
same
definitely
place.
pull out the bow, yeah.
I surreptitiously cast Major Armor on myself if nobody can see.
Got it. Mary, you are trained in survival, I'm sure.
Yes, very much so.
Jedediah, not so much?
No, not at all.
Mary, please give me a survival check.
Sure. 20.
What you see is that there is a lot of blood, and it is pooled around the yoke of the wagon. Whatever pack animal was pulling the wagon likely shed this blood. You also see that there are some muddy hoof prints of one pack animal that ride away from this scene. It looks like this was probably pulled by two horses. One horse suffered a very big catastrophe here. The other horse probably panicked, broke yoke, and ran. And the wagon just had nothing to pull it anymore. So it's just stationary here in the mud. And the rain continues to pour down, and it's a lot of dry soil, so there's a lot of flash flooding going on. It's not immediately absorbed into the terrain, and there's just these little rivulets of water pooling around and swirling the blood around and moving it to other places. But there's enough blood left behind that something bad happened to a pack animal here.
Do I hear any people?
You don't.
Alright, I want to slowly approach the back of the wagon and peek in.
Okay. It's got a couple big wooden doors.
It's not like a cloth?
It's not like cloth.
Does it have
no.
any cloth overhang at all?
It's actually a completely wooden enclosed wagon. Think about if you ever seen images of quack doctors and their magic potions or whatever. It's that sort of style
Gypsy
wagon.
Caravan of Stardust.
Yeah.
But it's not painted
Not
in any
covered
way.
wagon.
It's just like a regular wooden wagon.
I also was thinking about doing that, so I think we'll approach it together, and
So
one of
maybe
us will open the door, and the
How
other
about
one...
I pull the door and
Okay.
you, because
Alright.
you have firearms, which are much more
I
threatening.
do. I have many of them.
Okay.
Alright.
So yeah, if we're going to do this, I'm actually going to holster the revolver and take out the double barrel and just be ready to empty some shells into the
Basically,
back
I'm
of
going
this.
to open the door and then duck around the side.
Alright. You open the door. It has very little resistance. There's a little tug and then it pops loose, no problem. When you look inside after the doors are open, there is a panicky man.
Mm-hmm.
Appears to be in his mid to late 40s, balding on top with sort of a mediocre comb over.
Mm-hmm.
He's creeped into one corner, torso pressed up against the corner of his wagon. And he's like, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
I immediately lower the gun, but like low ready, not like put away. You all right?
I suppose you're not here to rob me, are you?
Looks like you got enough trouble for one day. What happened?
There's some creature took my horse.
What kind of creature?
Jesus Christ!
Wow, that
was
Nice.
Thanks,
Twice.
music.
Twice.
Give
Twice,
the music inspiration, please.
To the sound.
shit, right? It says it was one of those creatures from the mountains, the one with the big wings.
Shit, that sounds terrifying.
Have I heard of that kind of creature before?
Give me a nature check.
15?
There are certainly winged creatures that live out in the Rocky Mountains, but
Okay.
coming this far out.
Oh, I get it. The Rocky Mountains.
Ouch.
I officially hate you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you lose inspiration.
I officially love that he hates you.
Yeah, no, it's you've heard of creatures like this before coming out of the Rocky Mountains. It's pretty far from the mountains, though. If they're real hungry, maybe. But there's a few different varieties of winged creature that might come out this way.
What's your name, mister?
Milton.
Well, Mr. Milton, my name's Jed Blackburn. Mary, you want to pop out here, please? Introduce yourself.
Apparently,
I've got spurs on.
you both do. It's the Wild West. Everyone's got spurs. Baby's got spurs.
I'm actually gonna like wave down to the rest of the party and like motion for them that it's safe for them to come down.
My companion here is Mary. We have a few more fellers traveling with us.
I'll begin to approach.
Where was y'all heading?
This is I was on my way back up to Hope's Landing. I supply some of the frontier towns out here.
Coming the other way.
Going the other direction, yeah.
Listen, we're heading south. We're going to Wayne County. We can't get you up to Hope's Landing, and that bridge up there, it ain't much safe in the storm. I don't know what you're wanting to do, but if we can help you, we'll try.
So my plan was to hole up here till the storm passed. Hope I didn't get eaten.
Well, there are some natives. I don't think they're much of the friendly type.
You're heading back down to Wayne County?
That was the plan. You're welcome to join us. It's in the other direction.
Probably buy a fine horse out there.
Well, you're welcome to travel with us.
So you'd have me.
I think that could be arranged. I'll check with my trailmates here, but I don't see why not.
Do we arrive by now?
Yeah.
Did the frog people eat that ox?
You said to him?
No, I say that just out loud to anybody who's paying attention to me. 'Cause I'm
Oh, which
saying-
would absolutely be me.
Is it-
She goes up and like actually like takes fingers in the blood and like looks like she's like tasting it and then
Ew,
looks
that's
at you
kinda
and then
squeaky.
looks at you and just kind of like raises her eyebrows.
Shut right up.
I love
Is it
Mary.
daytime? Is it daytime?
It's evening time. Oh, it's afternoon, but it
mid-afternoon,
looks
you
like
said,
evening.
but it's dark.
Yeah, because of the storm clouds.
Well, happy end of the day to you, sir. Levi Williams. These are our companions. You've already met Jed, Mary, Doc.
Doc Lath.
He extends a hand to each of you. Milton Standish.
Does he know me?
Milton Standish. He makes a history check. Yeah, he's heard of you, actually. When you introduce yourself, he says, "Oh, I truly am blessed.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Better to meet you than one of them creatures in the mountains."
Doc, you want to give me a hand checking out this wagon? If it can still roll, we can hook some horses up to it.
yeah, let's see what we can do.
We're bringing this man with us.
He's going to travel south with us to Wayne County. He's encountered a bit of bad luck here.
I don't think he's going to fare so well if we leave him here in the rain.
Of course not. Good to have you with us, Milton.
He's very happy to meet you, right?
When I introduce myself, does he know me?
He does not.
Damn.
He's happy to talk about what he does. He's a merchant. He goes back and forth between the frontier towns out in Wayne County and Hope's Landing, which is the nearest place to get actual supplies. He basically like rides up, buys supplies when they're cheap in the winter, and then he goes back and forth between the towns to like supply all these random frontier towns that can't make their own rope and stuff like that. Like just really basic stupid shit. Stirrups, bless you.
This is just general store,
Yeah.
accoutrement kind of stuff.
They don't have their own general store because the towns are too small. So he basically rolls
They
the
just
wagon
look-
up,
they just
folds
little,
one
like,
side down, and
They're just little like prospect towns and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. And like people who are afraid to go near the bigger towns. So sometimes it's natives, sometimes it's fantasy races that don't do well in cities. Sometimes
These
it's
are people still living in tents, right? Like not really.
They have some structures,
established
some
town,
wooden structures and stuff. Not a lot. Small
like,
towns.
like a wooden facade with a canvas.
Basically,
on the rest
yeah.
of the walls. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like mid to late afternoon right now.
Yeah, but it's dark out because of the storm clouds. They're really dense, dark, rolling gray clouds, obstructing most of the light. And the wagon is certainly still pullable. Whatever took this man's pack animal took it and left. And the way he describes it, it was a lizard-like creature that descended from the sky, took his horse in its talons, and flew away with it.
We got dragons in these parts. I read about dragons.
A lizard-like winged creature with talons.
I feel like Jed might be more understanding of like crazy wild animals he's never heard of versus
Very
magic.
lizard-like,
Like,
is it?
Yeah.
it's a separate thing in his mind. Like, yeah, there's weird
Like
wild
more
animals up
lion
in the mountains.
Wyvern's too big for
Magic
that.
is a bizarre, quaint custom. You know,
Like
Yeah.
a wyvern.
But at any rate, yes, we're going to help Mr. Mitten get back to Wing Camp.
Yeah, the storm continues to pound this area, and it does so with rumbling ferocity. It's just this constant barrage of thunder and lightning and rain, and it pools and swells and drips down all the different valleys that you're trying to climb back out. And at some point, it becomes so dark that it's no longer sensible to travel. And in addition to that, you're now in open expanse, and there's these little rises and things, but there's not a lot of tree cover. There's not a lot of terrain cover, and the lightning now is striking down into random spots into the area that you're going through, and it just doesn't look safe to travel when lightning's coming down and there's nothing to break the lightning.
Is there anywhere within cover that we can see?
It's like a...
wooded areas or like.
You don't see like wooded areas. This is a pretty open, rocky, not flat ground. It's actually quite the opposite with ripples of stone and things like that. But there's nothing that sticks out above the ground level more than about 8 to 12 feet. It's just these constant, like if you wrinkled up some blankets and put terrain on top of it, that's what it looks like. But there is like covered areas and things like that you could wheel the wagon under and try and get some cover for the night out of the rain.
That would probably make the most sense for making camp tonight.
Yeah, and for resting the horses. They don't want to stand out in the rain all night.
As you're looking for a suitable spot, you actually do see that there is a skeleton strung up underneath one of these areas. You're like, oh, that'd be the perfect place to camp. And as you come around the corner, you see that it is a skeleton of a creature that must have stood 14 feet high.
Whoa.
It's strung up, so it was hung.
Strung up, it was hanged, and it has a wooden sign hung over its neck.
Temperance, it was hanged, not hung. Don't get excited.
It's still swinging from the rope, but the bones have been picked clean. It's almost bleached. And there's a wooden sign hanging from around its neck, and it just says, "Coward."
Jesus. The thing is 14 feet tall,
Skeleton is 14 foot high.
and it's hanging,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called a coward.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Alrighty then.
The skeleton's humanoid.
Yep, you can see clearly a skull, pelvis, spine, 4 limbs.
So, if Jed has something like this, like as soon as he's out of the rain and he can write on pen and paper without it getting all destroyed, he's going to mark this as Coward's Ledge.
Nice.
And it's,
Oh,
it's
hell yeah.
so far so named on his map.
Yeah.
We still gonna camp here?
I don't see why not. He's not
Are there
in
any
a
other?
position to harm us.
Are there any fresh tracks around here?
No, nothing fresh.
No one's been here in a while.
And it's pretty muddy and pretty rainy, so if anybody's been here in the last like 6 or 8 hours, you'd know.
Just for shits, I'll do a quick pulse for Celestials, Fiends, and Undead.
That's a negatory, yes.
Ping only, the silly.
I will obviously bow to her expertise in like wilderness survival, and I will assist her if any like checks need to be made for setting up the camp or like finding a suitable spot, with survival or anything like that.
This also might be a little bit eye-opening for Doc, because a lot of the local legends and stuff is about how the western half of the continent was once inhabited by large, gigantic men. And you haven't really seen any proof that that's true. Like, it's not in museums, they don't write about it in textbooks and history and stuff like that, but here in the bone, not the flesh, is a hanging skeleton of a creature who was obviously at least
Ginormous.
12 or 13 feet high, probably closer to 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Far exceeding your expectations of reality.
Yeah, Levi's pretty fascinated by it. Probably nothing like I've seen, though.
The signage and the rope are obviously well worn from the weather and somehow have managed to hold up in spite of the fact that they are supporting a skeletal weight that must have been astronomical with flesh and blood and bone. But you go to bunk down for the night.
So when we set up camp, as the very last thing, Mary's going to take out some silver wire and a bell and set up a 20-foot perimeter.
Okay.
And cast alarm.
Oh, such a good spell.
And I actually am not sure. Can Rangers ritual cast?
No, they can't.
Because it's a ritual spell.
But she came up with a suitably cool Wild West way to do an alarm spell, so I'm on board 100%. Josh, don't leave.
Okay, Josh, we'll
I'll
miss
be
you.
later, then.
You cannot urinate.
I need you here for this.
Okay.
We need you.
Alright, my bladder is strong. My will is stronger.
Alright.
Oh, and then she takes
Your will is stronger than
and
your
show-
bladder, so you're going to pee yourself but grit through it.
I'm going to show you exactly where the wire is and say, if you trip this up, then the wolf will get you.
Well, I don't know wolves. I don't like wolves.
I love your character already.
Stay inside.
She's terrible. Yeah, she terrorizes children.
Yes, it's the best.
That's
How
my
do you get
favorite.
them to behave?
Now,
Right.
now, Gideon, you just lay your head down and you don't look at nothing, okay?
I got the perfect thing for this, but go ahead.
Well, I suppose I will take first watch then. Temperance, you get some rest.
You know, maybe it's time I did a watch. I ain't never done no watch, and I don't need a rest right now. Maybe it's time I did one.
All right, boy. Good to have someone watching my back.
The boy is young. He still needs his sleep, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I'm fine. I ain't done nothing all day but ride around and get dragged around like a rucksack.
He's already talking like a man.
Jed started kicking out his bedroll. I was like, boy will be fine. He needs to learn some skills.
He is just a boy, Mr. Blackburn.
He's on the verge of being a man. You don't want to be a man unprepared, do you?
I'm almost 11.
All right, tell you what, Gideon. You join me for an hour or two. If you get bored, you go right to sleep. So you know what it's like.
Fine.
First hour.
And as Jed's drifted off to sleep, he looks over at Gideon making his first
Voodoo doll.
He's like,
This
Nice.
is mean.
yeah, well, Jed's a son of a bitch.
Yeah, well. An hour goes by, nothing happens. Over the course of the watch, Gideon probably getting a little heavy-lidded. You're a young kid. Sleep catches up to you quick.
You probably even hear Levi sings to himself a little bit softly. My Lord, he said unto me, do you like my garden so fair? You may live in this garden if you keep the grasses green, and I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day.
You feel a somewhat familiar tightness in your stomach as you rest on this log. A cursory test of your supernatural perception reveals no foreign intruders, but the feeling is otherwise unmistakable. The slight metallic tang on your tongue, the sound of your own blood pumping through your body, drowning out the rumble of the storm as it passes overhead. The rain beats down on the rolling hills and rocky red granite collecting in pools and streams, stained crimson by the stone. Particularly loud peal of thunder cranes your neck upward in reaction, and as the rain crashes into your face and pours down your jaw and neck, you rub the worst of it from your eyes. You look at your own hands, and they are covered in warm red blood. All around you, your companions are speckled with it as it rains from the heavens, filling the air with the odor of copper and sin. Nothing is earned without sacrifice, my son. All things must be washed away. A bolt of lightning erupts from the clouds, striking a lone wilting juniper. It splinters and pops, splitting from its largest bough, which is hurriedly swept up in the building torrent of flash flood waters. Though you remember your place, you remember not your cause. Your sins are many. The storm continues to rage overhead, lightning striking the hilltops and stone mesas with grim ferocity. A bloated, darkened shape appears on the horizon, carried by the force of all the rushing water. It wobbles clumsily in the current until it is close enough to see more clearly the 4 hooves dangling from the almost mummified corpse of a horse.
Oh, boy.
White and pale green, paper-like hide clings tightly to its ribs, revealing the empty contents of its stomach where the organs have been left to rot.
Hand on the saber.
It washes up on shore in front of you.
Shield up. It's kind of looking around me. He's not quite understanding what's going on right now. Was that voice familiar to me?
Yeah, very much.
All right, cool. Figured it was that, but I had to check.
Is it just him, or do I also hear it?
Just him.
Okay.
I'm in a nightmare vision here.
What is
Alright.
your reaction?
So this thing washes up. How far is it from me?
10 feet.
10 feet. All right. Well, probably take a reflexive like 5-foot step back, weapon out, or rather shield out and holy symbol out, and I'll do another pulse for undead fiends and celestials.
As you use your power to detect such forms, you can clearly feel the power of a celestial nearby, overhead.
Overhead. All right. Quick glance up.
You don't see anything in the cloud cover. What you do see is that
Stupid
the water...
clouds.
I know, right? The water swells the desiccated skin of the corpse, and it grows ever so slightly off the surface of the beast's bone. Impossibly, the shape of the animal rises to its feet with a confused snort. Large patches of missing skin and muscle revealing nothing but the bone beneath. It looks at you with serpent-slitted eyes, which glow a dull yellow for just a moment. It blinks and clambers off through the valley, disappearing into the darkness as the storm rumbles on overhead.
This is the horse thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a reptilian horse?
Apparently so.
Badass.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it moving? Is it like just straight up sprinting?
It's not sprinting, it's trotting along faster than you can walk.
Okay. He'll think to go after for a moment, but then I'll check on my companions.
Gideon's fallen asleep.
Okay. Or do they look alive and breathing?
Yep. And when you look again, you sort of clear your eyes. They're not covered in blood. They're just a little wet from the rainwater.
Okay. He feels like he's not going to get a chance like this, so we'll go after this thing.
Moving pretty damn fast.
It is.
Even at a trot, it's going quick.
He doesn't expect to catch it, more just to understand what's happening.
As you pursue, there's this sort of gentle odor of a dead animal, where you would expect it to be. And the water is now pooling in these rivulets and thick streams and pools and swirling eddies, just tainted with this red stone, this powdered stone from the ground up granite and things that are out here. And there's just this sort of crimson colored water pooling down in all the various little valleys, just not soaking into the ground readily.
Redness all around.
Yep.
Okay. Is that feeling my stomach still there?
Eventually it passes,
All right.
but it takes some time.
Yeah.
It's 20, 30 minutes.
Just be looking about, trying to make sense of this whole thing. I'll try to look for some clues, something that I'm missing. You want a roll of some sort?
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that when the horse got up and walked away, your supernatural sense detected an undead.
Okay. That's interesting. Anything about its prints?
Appears to be simple horse prints.
Is it about this thing? Shush you.
Thrice.
Yeah.
Alright, I suppose I will, I didn't travel too far, so I will just try to mount up and give chase on my own horse.
What you find is eventually the hoof prints get lighter and lighter and lighter and then cease. And the density of the mist and fog and rain and wet just cover up your view of the horizon.
Okay. Since I can see in the dark, what do I see anything?
No, you just see the hoof prints basically evaporate. They cease to be present.
One more pulse of detection.
You detect nothing anymore. Your range is 60 feet on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was fruitless. Doubt anyone will believe me. He'll turn around, disappointed, and just trot back to the camp.
As you get back,
Thinking upon the words.
You get back?
Yeah.
You ride back.
Yep.